Hello and welcome to another episode of the Autos and Airways podcast. I am your host, Alex Shum. Today's another episode by myself. I'm going to be talking about my driving experience with the all-new Tesla Model S Plaid. I'm also going to be going over the new Porsche Cayman Gt4 Rs, the upcoming BMW XM Concept, as well as the 2023 Acura Integra prototype that was also recently revealed. And of course, we'll start off with the cars and bids segment, where I found an absolutely flawless 2012 L322 Range Rover Supercharged. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I guess obviously we'll start off with cars and bids. So this week's car is a 2012 Range Rover Supercharged. The last year for the L322 generation Range Rover, that was the third generation. It was on sale from 2002 to 2012. In my opinion, probably it's tough. It's a tough choice for me. I don't know if my favorite Range Rover is the L405 or the L322, because the L322 was the last of like the more old school Range Rovers before they really kind of went into the modern era. But it still had all of the modern features, at least at the time, that a car had, and it was still a lot more old school than the current stuff. But I guess for that reason, the L322 will always kind of remains, special to me. And that was the Range Rover that I always knew as a child, because that's all it was. That's what everyone had. So I'm going to share my screen. This is it. Go. It is gorgeous. Almost just under 46,000 miles. It's finished in the lovely Galway Green with the Arabica interior. I mean, it is gorgeous. No miles at all. It's a lovely, lovely, lovely car. Perfect spec. So it is the AJ133 engine. 5-liter supercharged V8, 510 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, somewhere around that. 400, so close, 461. It's got a ZF 6-speed automatic and a 2-speed transfer case, as always in a Range Rover. I mean, it is lovely. I mean, this color, Galway Green, it was before they went to Aintree Green. Aintree Green is, in my opinion, a much nicer color, but Galway Green is still, it's a classic, close to British racing green. Very strange as to why that supercharged badge is down there. It is supposed to be up about 4 or 5 inches. That is just not right, and it looks a bit strange, really, but that would be an easy fix. It is. Yeah, it's a beautiful car. And the interior, I mean, the Arabica, I mean, this is like the Oxford leather. It's gorgeous. I mean, and it's got the white micropiping. It is, yeah, I mean, look at that. That is awesome. Such a lovely car. There's a little bit of wear and tear on the seats, but it's a car that's, it's 10 years old. But yeah, it is heated and ventilated front seats, heated rear seats. It's got the Harman Kardon Logic 7 surround sound system. I believe that one was like 14 speaker, like 710 watts, I think. Could be wrong on that, but yeah, I mean, it is truly just a lovely, lovely spec. I'm not sure if there's a window sticker or anything, but yeah, 5-liter supercharged engine is still a great engine if you take care of it. But yeah, it's a solid car. It's the last of kind of the old school Range Rovers, like I said. And nowadays it's really hard to find a clean L322. Early ones are really hard to find. Later ones are getting harder to find as well. But this one is probably one of the nicest in the country right now for sale, without a doubt. So I'm really curious to see how much it goes for. Right now, it's at $26,000. There's a day left of bidding. So we will see. This one has not had the timing chain repair done. I'm not sure how often oil changes were done on this, but at this low mileage, I wouldn't think it would be an issue. But again, you never really know. But yeah, this is a just fantastic example of an L322 Range Rover. So yeah, I guess moving on from that, I would like to discuss a couple weeks ago, I got to drive the all-new Tesla Model S Plaid, the fastest car in the world. Really, really interesting. A lot of my complaints with the quality issues that Tesla have has been remedied in some way with this car. It's still not great. The quality, interior quality and the build quality is still not great, but it is so much better than even the last Model 3 I drove, which was better than the Model 3 I drove before that. It still just isn't, I was very impressed with it, but at the same time, it was kind of same old from Tesla. Just a lot, quality was okay, not great. Paint quality still was not that good. But I was way, way more impressed than I was expecting from this. Of course, if you have, what is that thing, like a 1,020 horsepower, I think, I don't even remember. In 0 to 60 in 2 seconds flat. Yeah, its acceleration is unlike anything I've ever experienced before. It really, words cannot describe how insane that thing is under acceleration. I mean, quickest car I've ever driven was a Porsche 911 Turbo S 991.2. And I mean, that thing's insane. That's a 2.5 second car, but this blows that thing out of the water. I mean, I'm still kind of speechless on just how truly insane that thing is. I mean, it is, honestly, the performance is, it's too dangerous. In my opinion, it's a little too dangerous because it's expensive. That car's like $130,000, but it's not out of reach for a lot of people. Usually with this level of performance, you're getting a 911 turbo, which, give or take $200,000, or, 7-figure hypercars, or, there's some other electric cars, Porsche Taycan, Audi e-tron Gt4 Rs. But with this is just a bit, it is so insane. And to kind of put this into perspective, I got on an on-ramp onto the highway. I floored it. I had my foot to the carpet for probably 6, 7, 8 seconds. And I looked down and I was doing 147 miles an hour. Yeah, that is just how insanely fast this thing is. It really was insane. And the infotainment system was, it has an all-new infotainment system that is amazingly good. I would still, of course, like physical controls, but Tesla won't do that. But for what it was very good, and it has a gauge cluster. Thank you. Put that in the Model 3 and the Model Y, and it would be a lot better. What else about? I mean, yeah, it was really just, it was, yeah, I'm struggling really for words to just to kind of describe the driving experience. Um, However, there are issues with that car. The two come to mind. Um, I watched some reviews before driving this car, and everyone said that the brakes are not, you know, they're not good enough for just the level of performance of this car, and I agree. This car is severely underbraked. If you have over 1,000 horsepower in a car and your car does 0 to 60 in 2 seconds and it goes 200 miles an hour, you need brakes, and the brakes on this car were not good enough. And also, when this car weighs 5,000 pounds, you need good brakes. So stopping all that weight from such a high speed is it's vital. You have to have good brakes, and this car does not have good brakes. It just does not. It is, like I said, severely underbraked. No way would that work on a track. It's not a track car, but and even on the street, normal driving, it's fine. But if you floor it, if you're trying to impress people, if you need to stop quickly, it's not up for it. It's not good enough. But yeah, and then the other huge problem is the yoke steering wheel. It just doesn't work. Driving, on a back road or something, it's fine. It's not. It's a bit strange, but it's not really all that weird. However, if you're in a parking lot, you need to maneuver. If you're doing, if you're parallel parking, if you need to do a 3-point turn, you can't do this. You can't, because there's no top of the wheel. It's just not, for those of you that are listening in, I am moving my hands like I am, maneuvering a car. You just can't, you just can't do it. And it's a freaking joke. It really is. It Yokes are for airplanes, not cars. And there's a reason for that. I mean, it just doesn't, it doesn't work in the real world. It does not work in the real world at all. It's absolutely silly. And I mean, if I owned that car, I know I would not get used to that. I just could, even if I lived with it every day for a year, I know I could not get used to a yoke steering wheel, just because it's just not, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Handling was fine. It wasn't particularly great, but it was far from terrible. It handled better than it has a right to, but again, it doesn't handle as well as, Model S is a bit strange. It's kind of in between the size of an E-Class and an S-Class, but everything it competes with handles a little bit better. But yeah, overall, I was extremely impressed with it. I really was. It's just, I've always said that the Model S is Tesla's best product. It offers a lot for the money. It's been around the longest. It is getting long in the tooth. That thing came out in like 2013, so it's been on sale for almost 10 years. And it's, but it's still, they've definitely put their time and effort into it, and to try to make it as good as they can. And it does improve with basically every year. But yeah, would I buy one? Absolutely not. If I had to buy a Model S, I would just get the standard long range model. That's 0 to 60 in like 3.5 seconds, which is more than fast enough. And it has a normal steering wheel. And it basically looks the exact same. So that is the one I would, if I had to get a Model S, which I'm not, I would go for the long range. But yeah, like I said, overall, very impressive car, but still not for me. And I do see I do see a lot of accidents happening with this. Unfortunately, I mean, people are going to buy this and they're going to think, oh, look at this, it's so fast, it's so fast. And then they're going to crash because they didn't brake in time, or they just were not being smart. So yeah, let's move on to the next car I'd like to discuss, and that is the all-new 2023 Porsche Cayman Gt4 RS. This car I'm actually very excited about. You all know I'm a huge Porsche fan. And the Cayman Gt4, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best cars they make. The Cayman, in my opinion, I've always said this, it's better balanced than a 911 thanks to the mid-engine. But Porsche is now really like putting a lot of money into the Cayman, and to make it is even better. I mean, the GT4, they're doing the GTS 4-liter now, which is amazing. It has the 4-liter NA flat 6 instead of that 4-cylinder turbo, which just isn't that great. But yeah, this is really cool. So I'm actually gonna I'll pull this up. So the all new 718, I keep forgetting it's now the 718 Cayman. It's, you know, because when they went to the 4-cylinder, they renamed it the 718. So this is it. I mean, it looks awesome. This one has the Visoc package, which, you know, more aero, lighter weight. It has the 4-liter engine from the 992 GT3. It is not detuned, which is surprising, even though it makes less power than it does in the GT3. So the GT3, it's 503 horsepower and 346 pound-feet of torque. This one, I have it written down. This is 493 horsepower and 331 pound-feet of torque. And the reason it doesn't make as much power as the GT3 is because it has longer exhaust pipes, and you do lose a little bit of power with that. It also has a really cool, the intake is different, because obviously this engine was originally developed for the 911 to be, you know, a rear mounted engine. This one being mid-engine, I'm going to try to see if there's a good picture of it. Here we go. The intake is in the rear window. So they got rid of the rear window and made it into an air intake, which is, that's just so cool. I mean, Andy Preuninger, who was the head of Porsche's GT division, you know, he and his team, I mean, they are quite literally magicians. They work magic. It is, the stuff they do is insane. You know, there's a reason why he's nicknamed Mr. GT, and you know, every car that he has worked on has been excellent. I've had the chance to drive a few of his cars, and every single one of them was insanely good. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to this. Unfortunately, it is PDK only. The RS cars usually always are PDK, just, you know, for the fastest lap times. And it shows because this thing did a 7-minute, 4.5-second run on the Nürburgring Nordschleife, which is insane, insanely fast. Not sub 7 minutes, but really close, really, really close. And that's, I mean, that thing is, that's just insane how fast it is for a Cayman. It has 25% more downforce than the normal GT4, thanks to the larger rear wing and the revised front splitter as well. It also has some fiberglass body panels and more carbon to make it lighter. And yeah, the price is a lot of money. It's one here in the US, it starts at $143,050, which is, that's a lot. I mean, the normal GT4, I think, is right around 100,000. And by the time you put options on this thing, you're probably going to be looking at like 160. Still, Porsche is saying it's going to be around $20,000-$30,000 less than a comparable GT3. But the thing is, if you can afford this, you can afford a GT3. and I would still get a GT3 over a GT4 RS. I would. That's just me, but this thing is going to be absolutely insane. It really is. I'm so excited for this car. I mean, that engine, the 4-liter NA flat 6, just under 500 horsepower, revs all the way up to 9,000 RPM. Just that. I love that engine. I recently drove the new GT3 as well, and that engine just makes that car so special. It really, really does. So moving on, next thing I'd like to talk about, I have talked about it before, but now we have a lot of information on it. It's the upcoming 2023 Acura Integra. So they recently revealed the prototype version, which in Honda concept car speak means it is 99% production ready. They usually don't show off the interior in their prototype cars. And that's the case with this one as well. But the internet hates it. I actually really, really like it. I think it's going to be a solid car when it comes out next year. It's based on the new Civic. So, say what you want about that, but I've not driven the new Civic yet, but all the reviews are really, really good. I mean, Civics always drive way better than they should for, a compact economy car. And the new Integra, what's really interesting about this is Acura's new Halo car. The NSX is on its way out. And, Acura's made a comeback. The new RDX, new MDX, and the TLX are amazing. And now they're bringing back the Integra. This is going to be, Acura's, they've turned themselves around. They used to make some subpar luxury cars, and now they really made a comeback. So this is the 2023 Acura Integra prototype. This is what it's going to look like. Like I said, Acura's and Honda's prototypes are 99% the production car. Like I said, based on the Civic, it's going to have a 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and an available 6-speed manual transmission. Thank you, Acura. And it's going to be the high output version of this engine from the Civic Si, so around 200 horsepower, which will be great. I guarantee you there's going to be a Type S version that comes out in the near future that will probably be based on the upcoming Civic Type R. So have that engine, I assume, transmission as well. From what I can deduct, it's going to be front-wheel drive only, but you never know. We'll wait and see when they reveal the full-on production car. But yeah, it is a lovely car. I mean, I'm quite impressed with it. It's not the Integras of old. People are all upset that it's not a two-door, and I understand why it's not a two-door, because no one's buying coupes anymore. No one's buying, Honda doesn't sell the Civic coupe anymore because no one buys them. The mini hardtop two-door doesn't sell as well as it used to because everyone's getting, a Countryman or the Clubman or, the 4-door hardtop mini. But this is a really cool car. It has these really cool 19-inch wheels. It's got Brembo brakes. Things I don't think will make production. I don't think, obviously, these yellow tailpipes will not make production. Also, this is really cool. Like all the Integras of old, it has the Integra badge printed into the bumper, which is really cool. Almost positive that need to go back a bit. This will not make production. I guarantee that side graphic. You never know. But I don't think it will. Or if it does, it's going to be like a dealer installed option. But it's cool. It's still a lift back, so it's still a hot hatch. And the best part is this thing is going to start at around $30,000. I mean, I think it looks great. For 30 grand base, that's a really good starting point. You know, high output 4-cylinder, 6-speed manual, you know, 5-door hatchback. It's practical, and you know, it's an Acura, so it's going to be more luxurious than the Honda. This color is really cool. This is Indy Yellow Pearl paint. It's from the NSX supercar, and it's a homage to the old Phoenix Yellow that was on the old Integras. But yeah, not 100% sure if these 19-inch wheels will make it to production either. I mean, you never know, and it's got Brembo brakes as well, because you know, of course, it has to. But yeah, it is. I am very, very impressed with it. I have a coworker that's going to be getting one, because he right now is an RSX, which is the old, you know, here. The previous gen Integra was sold here in the US, the RSX, and it's a great. You know, we'll see. He says he's going to get the 6-speed too, so we'll see. And I'm very, very excited for that. They have done an amazing job, and it's interesting because this is actually being developed by Honda Japan, but it's going to be built here in the US, mainly for US. Mainly only, I assume, will be sold in other countries as well, but North America is going to be the largest market for it, no doubt. So the next car and last car I'd like to go over is the teaser for the new BMW XN Concept. This is BMW M Division's first kind of in-house electrified vehicle. It is, of course, it's a BMW X car, so it's going to be an SUV. And the thing is, it's BMW and enormous kidney grills is a trend that needs to go away, and they're not going to stop, because this, what in the Sam hell is this? I mean, first of all, the grills are illuminated. Like we have no idea what kind of car that is. Oh, it's got 2 massive kidney grills that light up. What could that be? Is that an Audi? Is that a Mercedes? Is that a BMW? No, that can't be a BMW, can it? Oh God, I don't know what the fuck this thing. I mean, I don't know. I'm looking at this and I physically want to be sick. Like, that is how terrible this thing looks. It's way too angular for my taste, and it's just yeah, it's quite frankly disgusting. I am appalled. I'm appalled at what BMW is doing for the most part now, and I am extremely appalled at this electrified M SUV thing. However, it's going to, BMW's not announced an official reveal date, but they said it's going to debut at a future Art Basel art show, probably the one in Miami, Florida, that is from December 2nd to December 4th of 2021. So that's, what is that, next week? So yeah, engine, powertrain, it is most likely, again, nothing's been officially revealed, but they're having some spy shots and stuff. Probably going to be the twin turbo 4.4 liter V8 that we've seen forever now, but with a plug-in hybrid. So think around 700 horsepower, probably at the least. Think probably more than that. And this is going to be an M only model, so there's not going to be any, you know, XM40i or, you know, an XM30i. It's XM, just M, just the top performance versions of it. But yeah, I don't like the way it's too angular. The headlights are basically non-existent. The grille is way too big. It looks like, I mean, I could literally like grill a steak on that grill. No pun intended. It's that horrible. It's horrible. At least it's not like the vertical beaver teeth that they put on the 4 Series and the new M3 and M4. But it's almost as bad. And then the last thing about this, BMW have announced that it is going to be produced at their Spartanburg, South Carolina plant, which is their biggest factory here in the US, in Spartanburg, South Carolina. That's where X3, X4, X5, X6, X7 are all produced, and now the upcoming X8, or not X8. This was supposed to be the X8, and then they decided, let's make this into an M-only car. So it's the XM. So, yeah, that will be that for the BMW XN Concept. And that will also wrap up today's podcast. So thank you so much for listening. And be sure to follow the Autos and Airwaves podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Anchor, and also follow us on Instagram as well at Autos and Airwaves, and also my other Instagram account at Cincy Rovers. So like I said, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you all in the next one. Cheers.